From development on James Island to the latest on the bike lane in West Ashley, Mike Seekings of the Charleston City Council talks to me one-on-one for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups.
It is so good to see you.
Thank you for having me again. Always a pleasure to sit and chat about things of the city.
Speaking of which, let me address the obvious. And this is the headline from the Post and Courier, quote, Charleston now largest city in South Carolina. Greenville among fastest growing in the nation. Tell me, when you hear Charleston is the largest city in the state, where does your mind go to?
Well, it just tells me a few things. South Carolina is a place where people are moving from around not only the country but around the world. Charleston is a place that people want to live, and it's, as you know, a debate we've been having a lot lately is this balance between livability and tourism.
Right.
So that number tells me that people are moving here and that we're going to have more locals going forward. And we have to make sure that we make this a community that continues to be livable for those who are coming here and investing their lives.
Speaking of growth, let me visit James Island. According to Live 5 News, the town of James Island will discuss a moratorium on new developments on the island. What should they discuss tonight in your mind?
Well, James Island has been an interesting case, I think, for me in particular, and for all of us here in the city. We spent so much time, when I say we, government spent so much time over on James Island fighting with each other that they forgot to plan for it. And so now here we are down the road, all the fights are over, the dust is settled, and James Island, poor James Island, has had no planning and is now sitting there with not one, not two, not three, but four governments to deal with. So when we took up the issue of a moratorium at City Council, one of the questions I asked of Mayor Woolsey when he was in the chambers, has the town of James Island joined in? Do they have a resolution? Are they in? In order for this to be effective, and I will tell you, I'm not a huge fan of moratoria, but I do think that this one is necessary, if for no other reason, to get all the governments talking and on the same page, that they've got to get on board, and so we're all working towards a single goal, and that is to make sure we have a long-term plan for livability, transportation, and growth on James Island.
Do you have a moratorium plan for the downtown Charleston area?
So, again, as I told you, and I will continue to say this, I'm not a fan of moratoriums. What we need is planning. We can plan downtown Charleston because we're a single government, and we are in the process of planning. We're going through the BAR review process tonight. We're looking at development going forward. We're looking at transit and transportation issues. We're looking at how to move hospitality workers. All that because we're a single government. James Island, Town of James Island, County of Charleston, City of Charleston, PSD, all those things, they need to get on the same page and then move forward. So that's just a special case. I'm hoping, never say never of course, but I'm hoping I voted for my last moratorium as a publicly elected official in the city, and particularly on the peninsula. We got plenty of things we need to address, but a moratorium puts it off. We need to be addressing them now, and I think actually we're in a pretty good place there.
Let me go next door to West Ashley because this headline appeared in the Post and Courier newspaper's website on May 23rd. The quote, developer to sell West Ashley's dead pig site to the city of Charleston, avoiding an imminent domain fight. Okay, what type of fight would have occurred if this didn't happen?
Well, you might have to go a couple pay grades up for me to figure that out, but my understanding of where we are and where we were with that is there was some identified need by those who are planning out West Ashley to reconfigure the road system over there and what we call the suicide merge. I'm in favor of that. Okay. If we are using the process of negotiating with the developer to get land so we can do that, great. I think that's where we are. Okay. Once we have reconfigured that roadway, I'm hoping that we will take that land and put it back in service. When I say back in service, that means get it back either on the private side or have it something be active, because we need to make sure we're not going in there and taking lands and then letting it sit there idle. That's not the right thing to do. And as you know, I didn't like the moratorium, the eminent domain portion of that, so I'm glad we got to negotiate it, although I think the whole threat of eminent domain probably cost us some money in the end.
Wow. Well, let me stay in West Ashley and talk to you about the bike lane, which is proposed on the Ashley River Bridge.
Yeah, where's my bike lane? We need the bike lane. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine, you're fine. I was going to go to a quote that you said, because obviously you said this quote, although it's only about a quarter mile long, it's a commitment by the city to connect the city, connect neighborhoods, to allow people to get across the river in something other than a car. All right, what commitment are you looking for from county council right now?
Well, let me take a step back first. And one of the things that was instructive to me and a lot of people in the last couple of weeks with the whole West Ashley, Rethink West Ashley, Revitalize West Ashley, charrette, and process that they went through is it became abundantly clear that the people in West Ashley, much like the people in other parts of not just the city but the state, want connectivity, want options, want a community that is linked together. And right now we have rivers that divide the city, and we have no linkage. We have no direct linkage for people who want to do things other than get in their car. And that's on a long-term sustainable model. And the good news for all of us is it's not what people want. So here we are, 2017, the middle of May, heading towards June. We've been talking about the connectivity issue and the bike lane issue for years now. The city has not once, not twice, but 3 times voted in favor of it. The county council has voted in favor of it. We got a letter from the chairman of the county council asking us in the city, do you really mean it? We said, yes, we really mean it. We would like this project to go forward. We would like this project to go forward. Is it a long-term permanent solution? I'm going to look in that camera and tell the people watching the answer is no. We need a long-term permanent solution, and there is one out there. But in the meantime, in terms of the growth of a city, the connectivity of a city, the development of a city that is accessible to all, that is a project that needs to happen. And I'm, like many other people, are frustrated. And what I learned, and I went to a good bit of the West Ashley presentations, particularly the transportation portions of it, what I've learned is people in West Ashley want it too.
What is the future of West Ashley anymore?
Oh, West Ashley is a place where there's huge amounts of opportunity for the city of Charleston and for the county of Charleston and for the people who live here. I mean, it can be a thriving economic, and it is a thriving economic entity unto itself. It needs to be and should be a place that we connect to the city of downtown, portions of downtown Charleston, but also falls, stands, rises on its own merit, and we need to give it life. And that is exactly what we're doing. And again, the solutions that have been proposed are to have economic models, connect them. The Citadel Mall is a place where for instance, we can go build taller buildings. We need taller buildings out there. We have access out there. So the future of West Ashley is much like the future of Charleston growth. Transportationally challenged. We need the support of the community to make sure that we prioritize the things that we do in terms of spending government money. And I think in the end, that is really going to come down to connectivity, mobility, just like everyone else.
The Charleston Area Justice Ministry. The headline from the Charleston City paper says this, quote, CAJM calls on city officials to address transparency and policing reform at Nehemiah Action Assembly. What is the city council's relationship with this ministry right now?
So let me just say this about that. Social justice is a worthy cause. I think their methods are questionable. That's all I have to say about that.
Councilman Mike Seekins, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.